people, wake up to this guy. He's conning you.
9. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit. As the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
Who runs the cult that I'm in? I'm a member of. I'm the high priestess.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
So we started off with digging a hole in the ground. It's got like a permit for a pit, big pit, and just dug a big pit.
And you have to tell them what the pit's for, or you just say, hey, we just want to dig a hole?
Nice, fill out this form.
That's it?
Yeah, it was a pit in our parking lot.
But do you have to give them some sort of blueprint for your ultimate idea? And do they have to approve it? Like, how does that work?
Now we just started off with a pit.
Okay.
Big pit. And, it's not really, don't really care about the existential nature of a pit. You just say, like, I want a pit.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a hole in the ground. So then we got the permit for the pit, and we dug the pit, and we dug it in, I don't know, 3 days, 2-3 days. Eric was coming by on Sunday afternoon. He was like, we should dig this pit and then, like, show Eric. This was like Friday morning, and then so it was about a little over 40 hours later we dug the pit. It was like we're in 24/7, 48 straight hours, something like that, and dug this big pit, and we're like showed Eric the pit, like obviously it's just a pit, but hey, it's hole in the ground is better than no hole in the ground.
And what do you tell them about this pit? I mean, you just said this is the beginning of this idea.
Christ, followed by the actual man of sin's arrival and acceptance on the global stage in the year 2025.
From the Feast of Trumpets, October 2nd in 2024, to the Feast of Trumpets, September 23, 2025 is 356 days. The number 356 in the Strong's Concordance is Elon, and the definition is Hittite. And the Hittites, their specialty was working with iron, mixing the iron and the clay. Daniel 2:43, transhumanism. So if you've been listening to my channel, you've already heard that one. But the next one, fasten your seatbelts. From Nisan 1, which is the first day of the Hebrew New Year 2025, or in the Hebrew 5785, which is March 29th, the first day of the Hebrew New Year. From that day, March 29th, Nisan 1 to the Feast of Trumpets in 2025, which is 923, September 23rd. So from 329 to 923, it's 178 days. Revelation chapter 17, verse 8, 178. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
It's got like a permit for a pit, big pit, and just dug a big pit.
And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit.
Yeah, it was a pit in our parking lot. Now we just started off with a pit.
Okay.
Big pit. And, it's not really, they don't really care about the existential nature of a pit. You just say, like, I want a pit.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
We got the permit for the pit, and we dug the pit, and we dug it in, like, I don't know, 3 days, 3 days. We should dig this pit and then, like, show Eric. This was like Friday morning. And then, so it was about a little over 40 hours later, we dug the pit.
And there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
48 straight hours, something like that. And dug this big pit, and we're like, showed Eric the pit. It's like, obviously it's just a pit.
And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night for ever and ever.
So please, people, wake up to this guy. He's conning you.
Pop culture has touted Elon Musk as some sort of eccentric heavyweight genius with humble beginnings. But this is demonstrably false. Elon Musk was born in South Africa, where he claims he grew up extremely poor, but his family owned an emerald mine. As a teenager, Elon would trade emeralds for cash in New York City, and his father bragged how they had so much money we couldn't even close our safe. Musk claims to have had about $100,000 of student loan debt, but he received a full scholarship to the University of Pennsylvania, where he bought a 10-bedroom frat house with his friend Adeo Ressi and ran an illegal nightclub. The pop culture claim is that Elon has an IQ of 155, but this has never been tested, and after being accepted into Stanford for PhD studies, he dropped out after 2 days. After dropping out, Elon began his first business venture with his brother Kimball, Zip2, which was essentially a digital version of the Yellow Pages. The brothers received tens of thousands of dollars from their parents, and yet Elon denies this. An associate of Elon's father, Greg Curry, got involved to bring in investors, but Elon's code was no good, so they had to hire on professional coders to rewrite everything. Zip2 was then sold for $307 million to Compaq, who later shut it down without ever earning a profit. Elon made $22 million, bought a $1 million McLaren F1 supercar, which made mainstream news, before he totaled the uninsured vehicle. Musk then went on to create an online bank, X.com. He partnered with banking expert Harris Fricker, Edward Ho, and Christopher Payne. All three ended up leaving the company after accusing Elon of lying to the media about the quality of their product. Elon claims he founded PayPal. Before the company was named PayPal, it was known as Confinity. It was founded in 1998 by Peter Thiel and Max Levchin. After losing millions of dollars, Elon's X.com was bought by Confinity in a merger in 2000. All Musk contributed at Confinity was his own power struggle. He made himself CEO and pushed to change the name to X.com. The executive team successfully petitioned to fire Musk while he was away on vacation. Part of Musk's resignation agreement stipulated that all references to founders of the company will be removed from their website, allowing Elon to claim credit, which so far is all he has ever achieved. Peter Thiel then rebranded the company as PayPal, went public, and sold to eBay for $1.5 billion. Elon made $180 million from the deal, which he then invested into Tesla, SpaceX, and failed company SolarCity. Elon falsely claims to be the founder of Tesla. Tesla was founded in 2003 by Mark Tarpenning and Martin Eberhard, who developed the Tesla Roadster. When Tesla Motors began looking for venture capital, they approached Elon Musk, who had the fake credibility as PayPal's co-founder. Musk joined with the condition that he be named chairman of the board. In emails, Musk was upset that the media was not giving him credit for Tesla Motors and went after Martin Eberhard, replacing him as CEO. He then forced Eberhard out of the company and rewrote the company's history to have himself listed as an original co-founder. Martin Eberhard, the man behind the Tesla Roadster, was promised the first Roadster off the assembly line. But Musk screwed him over on that as well and sent that car into space.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
Elon, who has absolutely no experience with rocket science, came up with the idea for SpaceX while traveling to Russia with the CIA's Michael Griffin of In-Q-Tel. Shortly after this conversation, Griffin was made administrator of NASA, where he launched the COTS program that privatized NASA's rocket program and awarded $278 million to SpaceX, who had never made or flown any rockets. Musk went on to produce rocket technology that has clearly been developed for years in the private sectors of the military-industrial complex.
So who is Elon Musk? Elon describes his father as being an evil, abusive man. His father, Errol Musk, has been accused of being a pedophile,
Had a history of abuse and witchcraft,
and fathered a child with his stepdaughter, who is 42 years younger than him. This spoiled, narcissistic failure, son of accused pedophile, wants to put computer chips in everyone's brain so that we can merge with artificial intelligence.
money that was later spent on the purchase of Twitter, where he immediately began the process of turning it into X.com with its own banking system. Or rather, the ruling class cabal that pulls his strings is turning Twitter into an everything app with its own banking system.
We've simplified this to simply something that is about the size of a large coin, and it goes in your skull, replaces a piece of skull, and the wires then connect within a few centimeters or about an inch away from the device. And this is sort of what it looks like. This is our little device. So this is our surgical robot. And we actually ultimately want this robot to do essentially the entire surgery. So in everything from incision, removing the skull, inserting the electrodes, placing the device, and then closing things up and having you ready to leave. So we want to have a fully automated system. So this shows you at sort of close-up view, which I think is actually not too gruesome, of the electrodes being inserted in the brain. And if you look closely, you'll see that it's a little counterintuitive that if the electrodes are inserted very carefully, that there's no bleeding. And so if you have very tiny electrodes, and if they're inserted very carefully, so that the robot actually images the brain and makes sure to avoid any veins or arteries, so that the electrodes can be inserted with no noticeable damage. So you will have no noticeable neural damage in inserting the link. And the way part of the way we analyze the stimulating neurons is with a 2-photon microscopy. I always have trouble pronouncing it, microscopy. It's very impressive technology. You can actually literally see in real time how the neurons are firing. So the red sort of things are the neurons. The red sort of flashing things are the neurons firing. Or I should say the electrodes firing. So the red things are electrodes firing, and then the green are the neuron bodies responding to the current from the electrode. And we're making good progress towards clinical studies. I'm excited to announce that we received a breakthrough device designation from the FDA in July, thanks to the hard work of the Neuralink team.
They don't need to chip you to control you. We already have iris scanners and palm scanners.
His girlfriend is now bragging how this could all lead to a communist utopia. And strangely enough, former Nazi and head of NASA, Wernher von Braun, predicted a man named Elon would conquer Mars in a 1952 novel that he wrote. Which is odd, because NASA has partnered with Elon's SpaceX to work towards colonizing Mars. Elon Musk, like everything else in today's modern society, is a fraud, a fake genius, just like fake philanthropist Bill Gates, brought to you by the fake news.